I'll be honest, church was always a chore. I remember we used to hide so we didn't have to go to church in school. It was presented as a chore, and it was always a very boring, very dull thing. Having moved to the Middle East, I've been here for 15 years. I've lived in Iran, Syria, a lot of time in Saudi, Iraq, and so on. I always felt that, especially when I'd see people rushing to the masjid for Joma prayer, I'd felt, they've got something I don't. Not an envious thing, but just seeing, I see that they have a devotion and a brotherhood and a faith, a connection with God, which I don't. I always felt something was missing in that sense. But ultimately, my decision to revert, it was a long time coming. I was, I'd say, pretty serious about my reading for the last 5 years. Because it's not a small decision, right? And there's no going back. Once it's done, it's done.
Definitely.
It was not an emotional thing. It was purely logical. And my reasoning being that, first of all, if you want to get the most out of the human experience, why would you live without a connection to God? If you want to perceive humanity with a certain system that made you the most worthwhile human you could be, to live out your human experience in the best way possible, to therefore contribute the most to humanity, to your family, to society, and so on, why not Islam? Because for me, it's a lot more than just a religion. Pre-Islam, I thought religion was go to church once a week, say a few things. Understanding Islam, to me, it's so much more than what I perceived a religion to be before. It's a system for perceiving the world. It's a system for self-programming yourself effectively. What are you doing when you pray? You're giving gratitude. You're acknowledging that you are not the center of the universe. You're conceptualizing things like shaitan, temptation. You're conceptualizing the fact that you are accountable to a higher force. How does that not make you a better human? And therefore better positioned to give value to your family, to stay disciplined, to work hard for society? To me, it's just in a purely logical sense. Islam is a system that makes you the best version you can be when practiced earnestly, and therefore makes you the most positive contributor to your family unit, to your brothers, to society. How can you argue against that? To me, it's overwhelmingly positive. So that was the turning point. For me personally, my main goal in life is to be the best version of the man I can be. Islam is a real accelerator of that. It really is. It's a system for life to make you the best version of man that you can be. I think it's quite powerful.
So speaking about connection to God, have you ever dealt with atheism? Because a lot of people, I hear this a lot, I'm too logical for God. I'm too rational to believe in a God.
To that, I'd say atheists to me, first of all, don't seem like very happy people. But secondly, the argument for or against God, again, what's your primary purpose for being on this planet? If it's to be the best version of a man that you can be and give the most positive impact to your family, your brothers, the causes you believe in society, then trying to do that without religion, without Islam, you're missing a weapon in your arsenal. So atheists, to me, they're shooting themselves in the foot. Let's say, somehow they are right, which obviously we know they're not. If their belief systems don't make them fulfilled and make them the best versions of themselves that they can be, then what's the point of their belief system? I would argue that logic. If you can go to a mosque and feel an intense emotional connection with a higher power, feel the brotherhood of the men you're standing next to, why would you choose atheism where you miss out on all these things? To me, that's illogical. So that would be my argument there. Typically, learning new things can be a bit of a chore. Whereas the more I read about Islam, the more conversations I have, the more hunger I have to learn. So I feel even more motivated. I'm a pretty motivated guy already. I work pretty hard. I feel more motivated to carve out more time to increase my learning. There's a power there which I haven't really comprehended yet. And I think it's simply by, the phrase Allahu Akbar, God is the biggest, the greatest. Just by acknowledging that and giving thanks, to me it gets your ego out of the way. It gets your problems out of the way. And yes, you could say, I'm grateful to God for everything I've been given. You go to a masjid and you pray, that's an action. And we all know actions have more power than words. As a whole, it's very motivating. It's given me a lot more energy to approach every day.